Hello everybody again. Today we are going to analyze chapter 9 from A Puzzle for Logan. So we are not going to do a recap this time because you already know the book very well. This is a short chapter and the questions are really simple for you. So let's start right away. Wait a second, I am just going to share the screen for you. Of course, I have highlighted all the most important things or facts that I found. Red is for the murdering scene, maybe green for another thing, and you are going to find right away. Now, let's listen to the audio, and while we listen, I am going to ask you some questions and point where you have to pay attention. And remember that all the questions are in the platform. So when you finish this video and you understand everything, you can go back and check at the platform. Okay, so let's start listening chapter 9.
Chapter 9. Back to the First Murder. Craig Sinclair's body had been discovered in the early hours of the morning at the back of a factory in Beaver Hall Road in the Broughton area of Edinburgh. One of the factory workers found it when he went outside to have a cigarette. Someone had shot Sinclair and then taken his body to the factory and left it there. Logan thought it might be useful to see where this had happened. She tried to remember if she'd ever been to Beaver Hall Road, but thought she probably hadn't. 15 minutes later, she was there.
So she wanted to know where it all had happened, so she drove there, okay? She took her car and she drove there. She was alone now. The first two questions and the only two questions for this page are the ones that are highlighted, yes, top in red and green. How did Craig Sinclair die? How did he die? So we know that somebody took him there. That's the main thing. And who found the body and where? Okay, you have all highlighted here. Quizás no les digo exactamente cómo murió, pero bueno, dice dónde lo encontraron, a qué hora, que alguien le había disparado y que lo habían llevado ahí, así que eso es un poco de cómo murió por ahora, de lo que sabemos, okay? And who found it? Well, you have it here. Then Logan went to see the murder scene, let's say.
Beaver Hall Road was a small street off Broughton Road. There were some old flats and a car park on the right-hand side of the street. On the left were some big buildings, factories and offices. At the end of the road was a large empty area, where the Powder Hall Stadium had once been. Logan left her car outside the last block of flats on the right-hand side and walked up the street. It was empty. The fish and chip shop on the corner was closed. There was nobody around.
Okay, so it is not very much important, at least for now, but there was a stadium there and a food shop and it was closed. No había nadie en el área. Vieron que muchas veces alrededor de las fábricas, a menos que sea un horario en el que todos entran o todos salen, no hay mucha gente. Uno pasa cerca de una fábrica y más que el ruido, alguna, quizás que otra persona que esté entrando, saliendo de trabajar, no hay.
She walked back up the street to her car. Opening the car door, she took out the police record and looked at the photographs of Sinclair's body. She looked round the street and worked out where his body had been found. Had the murderer known that the factories worked day and night? Maybe he or she had thought that no one would find the body until the next morning. Just then, she heard a noise behind her. An old man was walking across the empty area behind her. He was wearing an old jacket and grey trousers, which looked as if he had slept in them. As he came towards her, there was a strong smell of whiskey.
He was drunk.
"All right, hen?" he asked. Some Scots people call women hen if they don't know their name. Logan didn't like it much, but it was better than love. Just. "All right," she replied. Moving slowly from side to side, the old man stood in front of her. Suddenly, he looked hard at her, and then he stood up straight. "You'll be the police then," he said. That's right, said Logan. And you are? Angus MacLeod at your service, madam,
Angus
said the
MacLeod.
old man, touching the right side of his head with his first finger and then pointing it at Logan. You can call me Gus.
Okay, Gus.
Logan smiled. The old man had clearly drunk too much, but he wasn't dangerous. Where do you live, Gus? Asked Logan in a friendly way. Here and there, under the stars. I'm a free man in a free world, said Gus, throwing.
Sorry, I paused it at the wrong time. So it is simple here. Who was Gus? He was a drunk man. He was maybe he was a homeless person because he was wearing like dirty clothes, or he didn't have a home because he said that he was living here and there bajo las estrellas en un mundo muy grande y él era libre. So that's maybe a homeless but a harmless man. Okay. So maybe those could be your answers. Remember that when you have to talk about, or when you have to remember about the main characters or all the characters here, because we have lots of characters, maybe it's not that important that you remember the hair, the wrinkles, the mole. No es necesario que se acuerden el lunarcito que tenía debajo de la pestaña. It's okay. The whole picture, the whole idea, okay? Quizás de algunos se acuerdan más que de otros. De Jimmy, como que nos recordamos porque lo describía muy bien, el departamento todo cochino. Yes, I know. But maybe we don't remember every single thing. But the most important thing is that you know a little bit of each of them and what did they do to appear in the story. So let's continue a little bit.
His arms wide open.
Here.
Logan laughed a little. Do you come round here often? She asked. Oh, yes, said Gus slowly and carefully. I've been coming round here for a long time. Since before they knocked the stadium down.
Incluso antes de que
And he
tiraran
looked
el
back
estadio.
where the stadium had been, and then turned back to Logan. Since before you joined the police, I should think, too, he said, looking her up and down. And since before they found the body over there, he said, and pointed between the two factories. But I didn't come back for some time after that. That was a bad business. A bad business. You were here then? Asked Logan. Oh, yes, said MacLeod. But I didn't come back for a long time. It was a bad business. MacLeod looked unhappy at remembering the murder, and as he spoke, he took a half bottle of whiskey out of his pocket, took off the top, and had a drink. I mean, were you actually here on the night of the murder, Gus? Asked Logan. Oh, yes, said MacLeod. So did the police talk to you? Asked Logan. No. I went away. It was a bad business. Nothing to do with me. But did you see anything that night? Asked Logan. Oh, yes, said MacLeod. His voice was clearer now. I saw him. You saw the body? Said Logan. She couldn't believe her luck in finding this old man. I saw the body, said MacLeod, and I saw him too.
That's the most important part.
Asked Logan, trying to understand what the old man was talking about. I saw the body, said MacLeod slowly, as if talking to a child, and I saw him too, the man who brought the body. Logan could feel her breathing getting quicker. You mean you saw the man who left the body over there?
Okay, so my two questions for this page, it is page 51, are, was he, Gus MacLeod, was he around the factory when the murder took place? Yes, he was around the factory and he saw everything. And what did Gus confess? He confessed, or he said, or he told Logan, whatever you want to say, that he saw the time, or that he saw the man who brought the body. Okay, so he is like a really important character right now. We don't know if he is saying the truth or he is not saying the truth, because he might be too drunk. But remember, lo borracho dicen la verdad. So maybe he's telling the truth. The thing is that this man, if we believe him, saw everything. Obviamente no vio el asesinato, porque no es que lo asesinaron ahí a Craig Sinclair. Esto es lo más importante y por eso lo digo en español. Alguien trajo el cuerpo y lo dejó ahí. No es que fueron hasta ahí, lo llevaron vivo y ahí lo mataron. His body was brought dead to that place, to that factory. Is it okay? So we have 2 more pages and that's it. It is really simple. Let's continue.
McLeod looked at her as if she was stupid. Logan knew she had a problem. She should take McLeod straight to London Road for questioning. She should also be really angry with him for not giving information to the police. But people like Gus, people who lived on the street and drank too much, could be difficult. He might tell her something, but he might not. She could not make him talk. And if he did talk, it would not be easy to know if he was telling the truth, or even if he knew what the truth was.
I want to believe him.
If he gave her information that actually was important, she would have to be careful how she used it. A good lawyer could make someone like Gus seem completely mad. She decided to talk to Gus now. Somehow, she felt he would not like the London Road police station. "Tell me about him," said Logan. "Well," said McLeod, helping himself to another small drink, "I'd be very happy to tell you."
Va a hablar ahí, no lo va a llevar a la policía.
Just looked at Logan with a smile on his face. Logan found a £10 note in her pocket and gave it to the old man. "Now that's very kind of you," he said. "Well, it was the middle of the night and this car stopped just about here." And he pointed to a place near where they were standing. "A big man got out, opened the back door of the car on the other side, took something out, and carried it over there."
Okay, so 2 things. A £10 note. Remember what is a note? Maybe you remember it. Remember the word from some books that we have read. Puzzle, no. A Little Trouble in Dublin. ¿Se acuerdan que la profesora de los chicos falsificaba billetes y ahí aparecía la palabra note, ¿ok? Le dio un billete de 10 libras, entonces ahí habló, porque si no, él no iba a hablar. Y ahora le empieza a contar qué es todo lo que vio. My question for this page, my 2 questions, okay, will be, what was the man that was so like? ¿Cómo era el hombre que él vio? And what was the car like? Only those 2 things.
"What was the man like?" asked Logan.
My first question.
"Big," said McLeod. "Tall." "What was he wearing?" asked Logan.
He was wearing a suit.
"A suit," said McLeod. "Perhaps." It was dark. The street lights were on, but it was still quite dark. "What sort of car was it?" asked Logan. Big, said McLeod. 4 wheels and 4 doors.
Sirve.
And he started laughing. However, when he saw the look on Logan's face, he stopped. "Colour?" asked Logan. "I don't know, hen. It was the middle of the night. It looked as if it was a dark colour."
Okay, so sirve, dije yo cuando habló de las 4 puertas. Recuerden que hay autos que tienen 2 puertas nomás y el baúl. O sea que este era un auto grande, probablemente nos podemos imaginar un auto que, bueno, tiene acceso a, obviamente, la parte de delante por las 2 puertas atrás, un baúl grande quizás, ¿ok? It was a dark color, the man was big and he was tall and he was wearing a dark suit. Everything maybe we don't know if it is true, but everything could be useful for a police person that is trying to find a murder, okay? Porque tenemos un montón de personajes y todavía no sabemos quién es el asesino. So my last question for this chapter, for page 53, will be, what did Cass remember about the car number? Acerca de la patente. Recuerden que hay lugares en los que la patente puede ser como nosotros la tenemos acá en Argentina, números, letras. Hay otros que quizás suena gracioso. ¿Vieron que hay patentes que son graciosas? Las patentes en Estados Unidos pueden tener otro tipo de identificación. Así que vamos a ver qué es lo que dice él sobre la patente de este vehículo. Cuando hable de car number, vamos a estar pensando como en la patente.
Anything else? Asked Logan. Think carefully. Did you see the car number? McLeod started laughing again at the thought that he might have remembered the car number. But then he stopped laughing and looked at Logan. He took another drink from his bottle. He seemed to be thinking hard. Actually, he spoke clearly and looked her straight in the eye. I don't remember the car number, but I seem to have an idea in my head it was an unusual one. You know, like JB007 or Gus 1 or something like that. Are you sure about that? Asked Logan. Absolutely, said McLeod.
So, why is it important? Because maybe it is a funny or it is an unusual or it has to 007. ¿Y a qué me hace acordar? Ah, James Bond. ¿Entienden? Como que si veo una patente que dice 007, digo, ah, mirá, la patente de James Bond. Como que me va a causar más, no sé, me va a llamar más la atención que la patente de 428. Mi patente yo, del auto. Yo la miro y digo, no tiene nada de particular, pero quizás esta patente tenía algo en particular. O sea que si miro, busco autos grandes, autos caros, autos oscuros, autos que tengan las cuatro puertas, bueno, y justo uno de esos autos tiene una patente llamativa, podría llegar a ser. Let's finish.
His voice becoming a little unclear again. Then he looked at her as if deciding he had spent enough time with the police for now. And now, he continued, if you will excuse me, it has been nice talking to you, but I have important things to do.
Okay.
He turned and, singing quietly to himself, started walking up the street in a more or less straight line. Logan stood by her car and watched McLeod. He seemed to drink too much, and he probably believed what he had told her. But should she believe him? No one else would. But actually, she thought she did. It was interesting information, and she
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
needed time to think about it.
Okay. Very good. So, I choose to believe, okay? Yo elijo creer, porque si no elijo creer, como que me quedo ahí en medio de la nada. Realmente me parece todo muy interesante. Otra vez estamos hablando de lo mismo. Recuerden que todas las personas ahora están hablando de big cars, dark cars. People didn't remember the number of the car number, but he seemed to remember something funny, unusual, strange in the number. We know also that the man who brought the body was a tall man. He was wearing a suit. Digo, ¿quién podría estar usando un traje? No me suena a que Campbell podría haber estado usando un traje. But if I think of Baxter, the rich man that had some unusual or dirty business, he might have been wearing a suit because he's a businessman and businessmen wear suits. So let's think about it together. See you next class and we will discuss everything.